Welcome to Now Be You, a podcast and global community for ambitious female entrepreneurs. Here we discuss the ways we can empower you to meet us at the intersection of wellness and daily business practices. I'm your host, Leonora, a psychologist, meditation guide, author, entrepreneur, and mentor with over a decade of experience helping thousands of women unlock their full potential. Niraj Naik, founder of SOMA Breath, has built a global movement that fuses ancient breathwork practices with modern science and music therapy. What started as his own healing journey has now empowered thousands of worldwide to unlock their inner pharmacy, enhance performance, and reconnect with their true energy. In today's conversation, we will explore how breathwork can elevate leadership, emotional resilience, and daily life, especially for women navigating both businesses and personal growth. Get ready for an inspiring, practical, and powerful episode. So welcome, Niraj.
Great to be here.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Always nice to have you in our team, always in our life, and it's so inspiring. So I'm today having this conversation not only as a founder of Breathwork, but you also inspired my life as a leader and changed a lot in my work with SOMA Breath and music and so much more. So I want to ask you, I know that your story was not linear going into breathwork and how you founded this system to actually work for so many people in this world. So I wanted to ask you how did you spark the shift from pharmacist into breathwork pioneer?
So it all happened by accident. It wasn't something I intentionally chose to do. It was like I was guided to do it because I got very sick with an autoimmune disease and I was given two choices: either have my colon removed because I was shitting blood 40 times a day, or be a guinea pig for a drug hasn't been tested before. So as a pharmacist, I know the situation there, like what can happen. So I didn't want to do that. And they say God stands a gift of desperation. And the most desperate moment, a very close friend of my family now, Swami Ambakananda, she said, look, there's another path. And she basically said, like, you've got a gift. If you can turn this around, you can be an amazing role model to others. So it gave me a bit more of a hope. But I had to let go of a lot of my disbelief about these like kind of more fringe ideas for healing, which is at that time not many people realize the power of the breath, yoga, meditation for healing. Now there's a lot more science, but back then there wasn't so much. So I had to let go of a lot of my kind of doubts and limiting beliefs on my own culture of India, because in England we are kind of educated out of this, where we're very scientifically educated. So I had to really unlearn a lot of stuff, and just the simple breathing techniques that my Swami taught me made such a big impact that I was like, right, I want to learn everything about this. So I went down the rabbit hole and really studied Ayurveda at a deep level, the science of the breath, all the different pharmacy breathing techniques.
You did study for your own healing?
For my own self. This was all for me. But then I realized I could put music to the method. And I started to make my early versions of SOMA Breath, which were rhythmic breathing, pranayama sessions with special brainwave music. They're very powerful at turning off the stress. Because a lot of the reasons why people get chronic disease is because the stress has gone out of control for too long. So you can use controlled stress to actually turn off the stress and to reverse the stress, but you can also use special breathing tracks to turn on the parasympathetic and get into very deep, restful healing states. So from this understanding, I devised my own methodology over the years, and that became SOMA Breath. And it was like my answer to the pharmaceutical system, which I feel is broken, to give people an alternative to that system. You know, like you've got to look at these practices like a pharmacy. So there's techniques for unblocking your nose, fixing constipation, lowering blood pressure, like creating emotional harmony and balance. And then there's also a very revered technique of holding your breath. And when you hold your breath in various ways, we create a state called intermittent hypoxia, which has so many incredible health benefits for the body. So this is something that now scientists are starting to catch up with. And but you know what they do already in clinics, where they use a simulation of high altitude training, where people go up to high altitudes and come back down again, where the oxygen levels lower and then they bring it down to sea level. They keep doing this protocol like this. They found that that gave you a lot of health benefits. And in pranayama, there are breathing techniques that simulates high altitude training. And it creates a state called intermittent hypoxia. And actually, a lot of our techniques work around creating the state.
This is what SOMA Breath
the physiological
guides
state.
people into.
And
that.
it's counterintuitive because you'd think holding your breath is bad.
Yeah.
But actually, breath holding is pranayama.
Yeah.
The real art of pranayama is kumbhaka. Is not when you're breathing, it's when you're pausing the breath.
Hold the breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that technique, basically, when you started to study and try with yourself, did it heal you?
That was one of the methods, but primarily it was learning to turn off the stress and to speak to the unconscious mind, through the art of guided meditation. So I also studied this book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. He was also a pharmacist, but he fused Christian science with Ayurvedic practices and Eastern techniques of meditation. And he created a system called scientific prayers, which is a way to pray to the God within, which is the unconscious mind, to invoke healing. Because according to him, over time, this inner computer that we have gets corrupted by stress, life, programming.
Beliefs, all programming.
And so to unwire that, to reprogram that, you go into these deep trance states and you speak to the unconscious mind in various ways through affirmations and different meditative techniques. So I was using the breath to get into these altered states, these trance-like states, layering it with guided meditation and affirmation. And that was really what really started the healing journey for me. But then I changed my lifestyle according to Ayurveda, because in Ayurveda, if you don't live according to your real energetic profile, you go off balance, which is what I'd been doing for years. So when I studied Ayurveda, I realized that there's the right way to eat, there's a right way to act, the environment you create. And
that also helped you to find your right path in the
path
healing.
In life as well.
It is so interesting, because as we are co-founders with my sisters, we're doing this elemental energy signature. It's very close to Ayurveda, but different from a perspective of your soul energy, your internal energy. And it's so true. If someone is doing something like, for example, or working not the right job, choosing not the right lifestyle, not according to your energetic imprint, you are just going against yourself. And it's so actually effortless once we step in our element, when we step in our path, the way it's like the body heals itself, the mind opens up, everything just aligns in your life. And this is what I see in your life, that it's repeating in many, many leaders' life, what I'm talking in podcast as well. You mentioned one very interesting fact. You said, I was not planning to do this. It chose me. So basically, once we aligned and we really surrender, the purpose choose you.
Yes.
And actually, you allowed that purpose to be chosen, not by you, but you were chosen by a purpose. And this is so empowering, because when we talk with women leaders, most of them, they always saying it's the purpose chose me or it outgrew me.
Yes.
And actually, I have to surrender right now, and this purpose has to go and be expanded beyond me. This is what we were talking before.
Yeah.
So my question would be, it's like, I remember your phrase. You said, you always wanted to study in Cambridge, but Cambridge studies you right now. So, it's really interesting how life can sometimes turns around, and we can be so surprised and really empowered by just allowing ourselves to be ourselves. So where is this Cambridge study coming in right now in your life and SOMA Breath life?
Yeah, so that was a really interesting turn of events. So for years, even my mum's even here, like with us, which is funny. So, but she always said to me, study very hard, be a pharmacist, forget being a musician and DJ. And I actually ignored her at first. And then I went fully into being a music producer and promoter. And I started running massive raves in the UK, 2,000 people every month for 3 years. And I thought that's what I was going to do. And so I'm a natural creative. So in the Ayurvedic system, I'm a Vata Pitta, more on the Vata side, but they are the creatives, right?
Air, fire in our elemental system.
Yeah, exactly. And so we are the creatives, right? We get the divine downloads. And so I went from doing that to suddenly, boom, being stuck in a cubicle environment, dishing out pills, following instructions as a pharmacist, because that's what I did at university. So my mum was very pleased because now I've got a safe, secure job. Exactly. But me was getting destroyed inside.
So your elemental was totally dead.
Yeah. So what I think a lot of disease, where it comes from, is trapped creative energy. So trapped creative energy in the body, the creative potential is the Kundalini energy that we have stored, and is also very similar to it's actually part of the sexual energy as well, the life force. Yeah. And when you get suppress sexual energy or creative energy, that Kundalini energy actually starts to cause problems, disturbances, and that energetic disturbance leads to often creative people getting diseases.
Can we stop a little bit here about this Kundalini energy and sexual energy when we talk about women leaders? This is what I see as a pattern. If women goes into a world with her purpose, sometimes she has to go on the other side, more masculine side, more mental side. And this is where the burnout comes, the blockage of Kundalini energy. They might not even feel sexual enough or sensual enough to feel fully women. Yeah. And I'm just curious how the SOMA breath comes in and blends and guides women, for example, to reawaken their Kundalini energy.
Yeah. Well, the whole practice, and this is what Cambridge studied as well, is so when you hold your breath for around 60 to 90 seconds, this practice is called Nishesha Rachaka Kumbhaka.
So I will not repeat that.
So we do rhythmic breathing followed by breath holds. And when you hold your breath for that long, which we train you to do, it wakes up this dormant energy from within. And we use energy locks, tantric energy, to bring it up.
Squeezing the pelvic floor?
Yeah, to send the energy up to and circulate around the body. So this helps to release this dormant, trapped energy. So this is what was happening to me for a long time, right? In the pharmacy, and eventually led to disease. And then big part of my transformation was learning to use this energy for a higher purpose. So not only did I have suppressed creative sexual energy, having no relationships, dysfunctional relationships, misusing that energy, wasting that life force, through things like masturbation and all that. Yeah. So which a lot of guys do, right? Absolutely. When they're angry, depressed, frustrated. Yes. And so then when you learn these practices of transmutation, sexual transmutation, it wakes it up, it releases it, and you can use it for a higher purpose, for a better use. Then you increase
connection from the spirit to the matter, and that manifestation happens effortlessly.
Yeah,
also.
And then you start getting new thoughts, new ideas, more creative visions, and you get the energy to go after your goals and ambitions. Yeah. So that's one part of how this method works. So Cambridge University, they studied my protocol called the 21-day awakening journey, which builds you up to the last week where you do a very advanced Kundalini activation process, right? We don't call it that. We have it more of a scientific name for it, but it's a technique, I call it the SOMA awakening technique. And it revolves around this breath holding, right? So what they found was that the subjects were getting into altered states of consciousness, especially in week 2 and 3. There is just like what they use in therapy right now for treating severe depression, just psilocybin and ketamine and MDMA. They found that these are the best tools for treating severe depression, better than anything else. But they found that SOMA breath has the same effect, the same result. So their conclusion was that SOMA breath could be a non-pharmacological alternative to psychedelics. So the next phase is that they're going to do a clinical trial for depression. So that's what they're working on right
This
now.
is where they're working on.
Yeah, they're looking to get funding to do a more clinical trial, so they can bring it into healthcare. Because a lot of the treatments that people use, and a lot of people, like, let's say you get depressed. Let's say you're a female leader who's stuck in a, well, maybe you are a potential to be a leader, but you're stuck in a left-brained, very kind of robotic or masculine-like
or doing
job.
something like somebody pleasing somebody else, not being yourself.
Not being yourself. Maybe your sexual energy is suppressed. What might happen is you go and resort to taking drugs, substances to feel something, to wake something up. What people are trying to do is feel something, to change your emotional state, right?
Totally.
And then others who get depressed may go to an ayahuasca retreat or a psychedelic retreat. But the thing with substances is that it's the substance that's in control of you.
Yes.
You're not in control of the substance.
And then it's very difficult.
And what SOMA Breath does, it gives you the control back. So you don't need to take things to feel something.
So let's go a little bit in that moment, that phase where women leader or trapped, or she is potential to be this leader and really be led by her purpose. You know, it's so beautiful when people open up for the purposes, and then the purpose drives you, and it's like so many things happens around you. Even you are out of control. You just allow these things to happen. So we need people to be effortlessly tuned in their nature. What would be your, I don't know, suggestion or mini recipe for these kind of women to untrap their energy or just reset their nervous system in a very short time?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So in SOMA Breath, 70% of our audience is women.
Mm-hmm.
So,
interesting.
Yeah, so there's a reason why women
why.
are drawn to SOMA Breath. And I think it's because it's the combination of the slower breathing and the more meditative, like blissful breath retentions and breath holds, and also the guided voice, the meditation. It adds this other dimensions. It's the whole combination, and it really works with the physiology of women, which is very different from men. So women have a completely different set of hormones. Absolutely. And also they're much more governed by the lunar cycle, the moon cycle. So we have a very powerful female instructors like yourself. There's another lady called Claudia, who's one of our lead mentors. And so she's made a specialization in SOMA Breath for actually the breath working with the female cycle, especially when you get over around 40 years old, when you're going through that transition to menopause. And and you see society doesn't take care of that.
Absolutely.
The mainstream, it puts men and women as the same.
So how does SOMA Breath takes care of that?
So there's different breathing techniques, different lifestyle changes and interventions you can do, and also understanding of your moods and how they shift and change according to the moon, right? Every month it shifts. And it's how to deal with that, like from the practices that you do, that you choose in SOMA Breath. Because SOMA Breath is like lots of different methods.
Absolutely.
And practices.
It's like a pharmacist.
It's a pharmacy, so you take the ones that work for you at that time. So we have like very simple techniques for stress relief, like extended exhalations, like turning off the stress, which can help like women, stay more grounded and centered. But we also, like, just from awareness, you can know like how to be. And also I think it's really important for men to understand the women's cycles. So that's what we teach a lot, is for a man how to understand women and that they're different. You can't treat a woman in the same way as you would like one of your guy friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to be mindful. And then you see, one of the things that breaks down relationships is that men aren't educated on this.
Exactly,
they're not taught.
They're not understanding. Yeah.
And it's not their fault. So in SOMA Breath, we're trying to change that. We're teaching that. We're educating that that women and men are different.
It is indeed, very special when I use SOMA Breath in my mentorship programs or retreats. I always see where is, let's say, where the person has a problematic. Mostly is on sleep. So this is where I would definitely implement your music with this more spaciousness
Slow,
and
rhythmic
cosmic
breathing.
and slowing down the breath.
Yeah.
And this is once you breathe in and breathing out double slower.
Yes,
This is exactly what is like. You can just try at home, with a soundtrack or without. There is a lot in online, but actually just breathing in, for example, 4 times and breathing out 8 times.
4 seconds in, 8 seconds out.
Exactly.
4 seconds in, 8 seconds.
This is extremely active, like harmonizing your nervous system, and really allows you to fall asleep.
Yeah, and it works for men and women.
It works for men and women.
But women definitely have more sleep disturbances.
Yes, because they are much more sensitive and deep in terms of this hormonal affection. So definitely.
And also if they have a child.
If they have
a child. It really
a child.
changes the game.
Totally.
Like with my wife, I have to be really mindful that she's the one who needs more sleep. Right?
There you go.
Than me.
Oh, great.
So I will get up earlier and I'll prepare the breakfast and all that and make sure that she gets her beauty sleep and recharge sleep.
I'm sure every woman will hear this podcast for their husbands,
And then because men aren't educated on this, so men will maybe judge the woman for needing more sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, why aren't you getting up?
Why are you tired all the time?
And then that causes disharmony in the relationship, and then they fight, and then things break down. But if there was just simple education awareness from a young age, which is what we're trying to do with SOMA Breath, then men will grow up understanding that they need to
And it's wonderful that even though, let's say, even men would not know this information, but when women is aware about this information, she can transmit that information with no frustration.
Yeah.
She can prepare the field for her to be supported.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a young mama. I'm going to have this and this. I'm going through this and that. And here where we can collaborate in supporting me and supporting the family. And this is great when we help each other to stand in our field, in our, where we belong in our nature. This is how we can support the family and, of course, children. And I wanted to ask you one thing about this. Let's say we are talking a lot about women leadership right now, because yes, women want and ready to lead from a different, more feminine part of themselves, more effortless side, more allowing themselves to be in their nature than before, like competing or proving, as you say, left, right brain. It's her nature right now to be a mother, to be a leader, to allow things to happen through her, but also to allow to be taken care of.
Yes.
So maybe you have an example from SOMA Breath experience where women leaders stepped in and took SOMA Breath as a tool in her life, and what had happened to her shortly.
Yeah. We have a few amazing stories. So Claudia, who's our leader, master trainer, she went through. She was in a big corporate job, marketing director kind of thing, and she was going through the transition, the menopause, and she found SOMA Breath so powerful for easing that process, right? And getting out of her corporate job and transition into being a full-time SOMA Breath instructor. Like the whole process that we share, it really, she found it so powerful for her situation. And as a result, her relationship got even stronger and better between her and her husband. But then she stepped into a strong leadership role, coming on the retreats with me, training instructors, leading our sessions online. And so she found a whole new outlet for her feminine, creative energy. Because in SOMA Breath, we also teach you how to use the music, put your own voice on it to guide you.
Yes.
We're really teaching you to be a transformational artist.
Exactly.
Not a coach or a therapist or anything like that. You're a healer. No, you're an artist. Yeah. And it's the art of transformation of SOMA Breath. So actually what that's doing is, because it's creative, it's stimulating the right side of the brain. The right side of the brain is the feminine brain. Yeah. Okay, it exercises that. So what it also does is it helps men to awaken their own feminine side, the creative side. Because the problem in the world is that we're in a very left brain world. So from the educational system to the kind of work we do, very robotized, it works mostly on the left brain. And the left brain is the masculine brain. So this is why women tend to end up getting, stuck in this masculine side of their brain. And then and it's not exercising the right brain. Yeah. And they're losing their femininity and creativity and artists. Women are natural artists. They're more than men connected to the divine spirits.
So intuitive.
Yeah, very intuitive.
And this is
where emotionally connected. Yeah.
It's so, and the same with men. If women losing their feminine side, it means men they losing also their creativity, because women are naturally inspiring men to be creative or to be intuitive or to be guided by her intuition. This is how we share these energies. Yeah. But then when women blocks it, the whole ripple effect goes into the roots of the family.
And it can cause PTSD. So one of my amazing stories recently is a lady called Simona. Mm-hmm. And she was in a very masculine job. She had a big company in Canada, but she also had a partner who was abusing her, suppressing her femininity and holding her back. And she got PTSD from it for many years. She had lifelong stress, like really stressful upbringing and everything. And then she did the 21-day awakening journey, completely changed her life, cured her PTSD in 4 weeks or 5 weeks. She then bought her dream retreat center home in Italy, sold her business, moved to Italy week 6, and got sold out SOMA Breath classes from week 7.
Amazing.
So, and she did the instructor training. So she went through 21 days, became an instructor. Within a month and a half, has a sold-out retreat center.
And it's so beautiful to hear these success stories, because if you are listening right now, it's not about maybe you're gonna try to become an instructor, or you're just gonna take a moment and breathe. With the soundtracks, we do a lot of journeys together, infused by SOMA Breath as well. And actually, if you are listening right now, you can join on Substack us, and every month we're gonna do a live journeys infused by SOMA Breath, and we're gonna definitely realign our nervous system and really go on a journey within your inspiration. So either way, if you wanna become instructor, if you wanna participate 21-day inspiring journey, or you just wanna from time to time implement in your daily life this practice, SOMA Breath, I find it super powerful, effortless, and very creative.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of appreciation to your work is coming from us, and it's I really want to build more and more my work around this as I see tangible results.
Yeah, but you see, it's not like I set out to make a solution for women. It's what this comes from is wisdom from thousands of years, like tradition, which is the tantric yoga practice, right? And tantric yoga is a way of life, and it's a system of creating magic and transformation, and there's a science to it. And all I've done is demystified it, made it more fun, accessible to everyone, and fun through the music and the methodology itself. So all I've done is taken ancient wisdom, and they already figured all this stuff out, and all I've done is brought it to the world in a system that is easier to understand than the old system.
Easier to access and use it.
Yeah, perfectly. So I haven't really done anything like remarkable myself. I just brought to the world in a cool way stuff that's already been around forever.
I do believe that everything is here already. All we do is making more accessible in our daily life. And remember.
Yeah, because I feel like our modern society is a bit like, we're maybe like teenagers phase right now. Yeah. And these older ancient cultures, they are so long, like they've been around for so long that they are wise, old, like kind of,
So we need
babas.
to translate into a teenager language a little bit.
But they've grown up and they've figured it out. So we just need to respect that lineage and really not disregard it, because we think that science and modern way of life is the right way of life, but it's not, because depression's through the roof, obesity's through the roof, people are taking more drugs and pills than ever before, And, you know, we have amazing world, like it's phenomenal what humans have created, but it's become dysfunctional.
Absolutely.
And that's because they went away from the wisdom of the ancients, especially the medical system. So what we need to do is just respect what they created thousands of years ago and not disregard it.
Yeah, and it's like getting closer to a closure of our conversation, but really taking this respectful theme into this closure. I always say, if we work with people, if we are awakening in our remembrance and awareness, I always say it's like the easiest way to solve the problem is to admit that you created it, or at least you were a part of it.
Yes.
Then we feel the power in our hands. And this is where I see your purpose participating in this journey of SOMA Breath. It's not about being it's my or I'm creator. It's just knowing that we can solve the numbness, we can solve this problem of sickness in a very different many ways and angles. This is what we do with our elemental signature. You do with SOMA Breath. Somebody else is doing with their own technique, but at the end of the day, it's all coming from very ancient systematics. Right. So to close it and to really make it remarkable, I would like to ask you, what would you like to recommend to nowadays women leaders who are really living their purpose, who are having their families and really want to make their life effortless, but also purposeful? What is your recommendation or desire for them?
So the Eastern mindset philosophy is foolish to control the mind through the mind. And this is what the big mistake people make. Because let's say someone's having an anxiety attack, panic attack. If you tell them to stop panicking, it just makes it worse. It doesn't work, right? So the smart way is to control the mind through the body, the SOMA, right? And SOMA is SOMA Breath, right? It's the body. It's Tantra, actually Tan means body. So what my number one tip is to get back in from out of the mind into the body, right? And so you have to respect the body. So if you are Look at your lifestyle first. This is the number one thing. If you're eating majority factory-based foods, you need to transition to a no-factory diet. You don't have to go on a crazy diet. You just need to start eating normal, healthy foods so you have the right fuel for the body, right? That's number one. That's super important, right? Because that's the easiest thing you can change. Then the second thing is, we have to move. If the body is still like this and not moving, if you don't move it, you lose it, right? So you got to start dancing. You got to start getting the body. Women are meant to dance. Make dance your number one practice in every morning. And way to enhance that, right, the practice, is to keep your mouth shut, only breathe through your nose as you're dancing. Then it turns the exercise from aerobic to anaerobic. When it's more anaerobic, it's much more of a powerful tool for strengthening the body. Right? So don't breathe through your mouth, don't hyperventilate. Slow breathing as you're dancing, but dance like nobody's watching, go crazy, have fun. And then you do the SOMA Breath practice, which is the rhythmic breathing and holding your breath. And this one state, intermittent hypoxia, is your best friend. When you learn how to hold your breath for this long, right, 60 to 90 seconds, which is easy to master, doesn't take long, you will have a tool that actually upgrades you at a cellular level. So this is the most profound thing of all. So every cell has a tiny little car engine called mitochondria, and that's how you produce life force, energy, okay? And as you get older, and especially women going through menopause, this is where it happens at a serious level, the mitochondria start to die and get dysfunctional. And what scientists found that if you give a constant supply of fuel to the mitochondria, they get fat and lazy and they die. And it's just like if you were sat down in front of a TV eating pizzas all day long and drinking Coca-Cola, you get fat and lazy. Same thing, what most people are doing is constantly feeding the cells food and oxygen. Right? They're the two things that produce energy in the body. So what you have to do is take away oxygen for a bit and give it back. Take it away, give it back. And that's what our protocol does. Through this technique of Nishesha Rachaka Kumbhaka, breath retention, You're taking away oxygen and giving it back, taking it away. And what that does is it makes the mitochondria wake up and go, oh, I'm running out of oxygen. So all the old mitochondria die away, new ones are replaced very fast, and they multiply. And you go from 1,000 mitochondria to 4,000. When you do that, you optimize the physiology of yourself. And women need to think about this. The stronger they are, the more vital they are because they have more mitochondria, the more resilient they're going to be through all the stress of this like more masculine lifestyle that they're having to lead. And going through that transition becomes easier. The hormones are much more in balance if you have healthy mitochondria.
Hypoxia is like key.
Intermittent hypoxia.
Yeah.
And what it also does, this technique, is it wakes up stem cells. Stem cells have the ability to turn into any other cell in the body. So stem cells hate oxygen. When you lower the oxygen for a brief period, the stem cells come out and they go to areas of the body where there needs healing, inflammation needs to be lowered, and they also increase your red blood cell count. So another thing that women suffer from a lot is anemia. Heavy periods can cause anemia, and anemia is one of the things that women can suffer from. So actually, this technique can fix anemia. It can increase stem cells, so it can create aging, reverse aging. So at the end of it, if you follow one of these protocols, women are going to look brighter, younger, because this is the anti-aging secret, and more vital. And I know one of the challenges women have is to stay youthful as they get older, right? And as we're in this very judgmental world, looking young is very important to women, I think. So imagine if you had a breathing technique that makes you look and feel younger, right? And reverses aging and makes you live longer. That's what this is. That's what the power of intermittent hypoxia is. It's your own natural beauty medicine.
Amazing. I already seeing the whole picture. Actually, Niraj and I, we've done not one event together, and this is where it comes. For women or men, does not matter. As we talk about feminine leadership is really the body, and movement is really important. But we definitely gonna get on Substack and do something really powerful and important is to dance and to really create as long as we can hand intermittent hypoxia so that the body can rejuvenate and really empower us into our inner leadership and beyond.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Niraj, for your amazing insights and creativity as always. And I hope to be continued in the near future.
For sure. Love it.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Nice one. Cool.
Thank you for listening to Now Be You podcast. If you liked our conversation, please subscribe the podcast and join our community where much more authentic conversations to come.